And so this past month, we hit another record. So we broke another one of the most cases we've ever signed again, which is great.
Now it's going to be down to the numbers, which I think is going to be, every now and then we hit like new levels, right? We get to a spot and we uncover something new or we get really dialed in. I think this is one of those times where we've uncovered a new level, a new way of looking at things. And that's going to, I think, propel us to where we need to go. So,
mainly just to stay sharp, level up, make sure that we're doing everything that we can do to be the best that we can be for our clients and doing the best job we can anytime we do end up, putting 6 in the box, because it happens not as frequently as we would want it.
Cam has been really doing a great job. He's been really working hard the past year, really, and trying to get the marketing department up and running. We're seeing the fruits of his labor over the past, couple months, and things are continuing to get dialed in, but I think the future's bright. So thank you very much.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I promised I wouldn't cry on this.
And helpful, so yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You got a 4-3 recap you want to throw in before we
I know.
Ladies and gentlemen,
boys and girls.
boys and girls, welcome to yet another CHE Weekly Recap, in which CHE recaps their week. If you don't know, if you don't remember, because it's been 2 weeks since we've gotten at you, we're a Florida personal injury law firm. If you need help, if your loved ones need help, holler at your boys. Now, we're going to talk about what we didn't talk about last week because we were very busy at a very important meeting that we had with each other. We went to an undisclosed, unspecified location, which we're not at liberty to discuss, and got down to business, where we talked about how we did last quarter and what we're doing this quarter. But I'll kind of let everybody fill in what they got to say about it. Igor Hernandez.
It's 2 weeks. So not this week, the week before, most of the week was basically finishing up some recruiting that we had going on, which thankfully that part of it's done. And we got some good people onboarding as we speak. And then we have somebody starting Monday, which is great. And so I can put that behind me and hopefully they will all check out and everybody's going to be great and life will be good. But you know how it goes. We'll see as time tells us. So I did that. And then I had to basically put all my numbers together for the LQM, which we call it our quarterly meeting that Cam was talking about. And so I spent a lot of time just looking at reports and data and all that kind of stuff. And it was interesting because in the meeting itself, we basically realized that the data that we have, even though we've always operated on good data, the data that we have just it's not going to get us to the next level, I guess is the best way I can put that. And it's not really the data we have, it's the data that we're looking at. Right. We have all the data, but the stuff we're looking at. And so the meeting was great, spent a whole bunch of time going back and forth and getting dialed in and important stuff. But then when I came back, there was all these reports that I wanted to build out to really, really start looking at some of this data we never really looked at before to go to the next level. And so I spent a lot of this week doing that and finalizing recruiting and kind of assisting with the transition of pre-suit and a couple other things. But I think most useful has been the new data that we're looking at. We have all those reports now that really breaks down everything on a case-by-case basis and the time that people are spending on them and what's moving and what's not and profitability of the cases and, what's the case value that we should be shooting for based on like math, as opposed to before it was kind of like feeling. It's like, I feel that X number of dollars is a good case to pursue. Now it's going to be down to the numbers, which I think is going to be, every now and then we hit like new levels, right? We get to a spot and we uncover something new or we get really dialed in. I think this is one of those times where we've uncovered a new level, a new way of looking at things. And that's going to, I think, propel us to where we need to go. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. What about you, John?
Last week for me, before we left for our quarterly meeting, it was like a hodgepodge of things, but probably the thing that sticks out the most was I booked Igor, myself, Dylan, Cam sitting this one out, but our 2 associates, Ira and Dylan Boygris, booked us all for the next Trial Lawyers University conference that's coming up. Really just as an effort to keep us all sharp for, trial skills. We got a bunch of trials coming down the pike in the second half of this year. And TLU was something that Igor and I went to after our most recent trial last summer, mainly just to stay sharp, level up, make sure that we're doing everything that we can do to be the best that we can be for our clients and doing the best job we can anytime we do end up, putting 6 in the box, because it happens not as frequently as we would want it. But yeah, just putting, that whole package together for 5 people is a nightmare. It took way more time than I would have wanted, and certainly more than I expected. But then, we went to our quarterly meeting, and up there, there was only one guy who engaged in any athletic activity while we were up there, and I don't think it was any of these three. Look at Dylan smirking. Yeah, what I saw you
There
do
was
was
also
not.
only one guy who told us incessantly about every athletic activity he engaged in. No, we didn't see any of it. We didn't see one bit. All we know is he left in the morning and came back and then started talking about it. We do think there are health issues, though.
But anyway, one of the things that we did as a group was we identified the different departments that we were in certain boulders, we call them, big time goals that we want to accomplish over the next quarter. One of them what's that? Rocks.
So you really
Boulders.
left an impression, John.
What
No, it's huge things we're never going to forget. What do we call them?
What do we talk about?
Boulders.
I don't remember. But anyway, one of the things for me was that we noticed that as I move further away from like the day in day out production, on a case by case basis, and our associates, take more of a stronghold on that, the further away I get from actually knowing critical information about each individual case, and it makes it more difficult for me to identify cases that are likely or should be pushed for trial versus cases that might be more ripe for settlement. And so one of the initiatives for litigation was being able to put together a worksheet case by case for our associates to fill out, so that I'm going to be able to have access to that information, so that we have a better bird's eye view over the department. And when I need to be able to have conversations about cases with these guys, I'm going to be able to pull that data up like that, rather than say, hold on, let me look at this file and figure it out, or chase down Dylan or Ira or any associate we have to try and gather that information. So that was something that was a quarterly goal, but I was able to actually get the majority of that rolled out this week. So that was huge to be able to tackle that quickly. But that's what I've been up to. That and athletic activity.
We know.
But Dylan, what have you been up to?
So the past couple of weeks, we've been really focusing on just transitioning me out of the pre-suit department. So I'm exclusively focusing on a lot of sales and rainmaking type stuff. Working with a lot of the different law firms and different referral partners that we have, just for co-counsel relationships and things like that. And it's really just been juggling a little bit of both. Developing those relationships, meeting with different attorneys, doing a lot of vetting, and reviewing the cases on that end with Cam, actually, to make sure that we're taking on the right types of cases where we can maximize value. And then also making sure for the department that I was running before, pre-suit, have probably about 60, 65 cases or something like that. They are reshuffled and restructured, throughout the firm, just to kind of make sure that we're maximizing efficiency and, able to kind of utilize everybody's time. And so with that, we've promoted one of our case managers that was actually on the litigation side. She had an incredible amount of management experience before she came to our firm, and is really a pro and is a big-time A player, and she's been really helping us transition a lot of this and create the necessary systems that are required to get those cases where they need to be, make sure they're handled quickly and efficiently by the attorneys that are going to be holding onto those cases, and then also just making sure that the right type of check-ins and the right type of management structures are in place, so that we know what the department's doing at all times from a macro and a micro level. So it's been a lot of that, a lot of different meetings with some of the different attorneys for cases that are transferring from pre-suit over to lit, and that's it. It's just a lot. It's a lot, and we're very blessed to kind of have a lot of work over the last couple of years. And when you're growing so fast, things kind of happen in a bit of a blur. But we're kind of like in that phase, or at least I am. I feel very busy all the time, and I frankly prefer to be working. And when things are somewhat hectic, like I kind of like feed off of that, and I kind of like enjoy the pace that it puts you through, but nevertheless, it's still exhausting, So yeah, been doing that the past couple of weeks, really been doing that the past couple months. So that's really been what I've been working on. One thing I will say before Cam actually, jumps in, is that Cam has been doing a great job in getting the marketing department up and running and where it needs to be.
Why don't you let him tell us about it?
Well, because I think it's one thing actually for you to talk about yourself, and it's actually another thing to actually let one of your peers, give you praise, John. If you actually gave your peers praise, maybe you'd understand the importance of this, But he's too busy talking about his own workouts and the 5 AM workouts.
Well, if I had any other workouts to talk about, I'd have discussed them.
Yeah, I'm sure you would. But on a serious note, Cam has been really doing a great job. He's been really working hard the past year, really, and trying to get the marketing department up and running. He transitioned to this role without really any experience in the marketing field, and he's been educating himself, studying, going to conferences, seminars, working with our marketing manager that we hired a few months ago, Arturo, who you guys I think did meet in one of our weekly recaps. And we're seeing the fruits of his labor over the past couple months, and things are continuing to get dialed in. But I think the future's bright, and we owe a lot of that to him and his hard work. So thank you very much.
I appreciate you.
Yeah.
I promised I wouldn't cry on this. So I'll do it after I turn the camera off. What's been going on my week was, just to bring it back to the meeting we did last time, the level up was just looking at data that, frankly, I feel like I should have been looking at before, but I wasn't. And so it was good to see. And so this past month, we hit another record. So we broke another one of the most cases we've ever signed again, which is great. And now that we've solved that issue, we have another issue that we need to hit, which is upping some of the quality of the leads that are coming in to make sure that we're getting the right people that we can help. And we are doing a better job of signing up more cases, and we need to do a better job of getting the quality of the leads up. So you're never done with problems in life, right? Once you fix one thing, you get on to another one, which is good. And so we're working together with Arturo to fix that. We got some new campaigns we're rolling out. We set our own rocks. I think those rocks that we set, what were they called? Folders are going to be useful because you have a couple of goals that you work hard for, and I'm excited to get those done. So that's really all I got.
It's kind of crazy, like how you begin to level up though, and you start to realize the things that you don't know, and then as you uncover the things that you don't know, you kind of like it's good, but it also scares the shit out of you at the same time.
I feel like a real asshole.
Well, yeah, because you realize all the shit that you were not paying attention to when you thought that maybe you were operating at a high level before, And so it's definitely always good to stay humble. Frankly, it's like that type of paranoia, I think, that at least gives me relief to know that when you have that type of paranoia and fear, it helps you perform better. So that's good and it's healthy, but it's also one of those things where, Igor never lets us get too comfortable. You know what I mean? Always scaring us, for one day to the next on things we gotta stay on top of. So that's refreshing and helpful. So yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You got a fourth recap you want to throw in before we
I know. But how's that milk diet your trainer's got you on from F45? That shit's suspect, I'm telling you right now.
John, one thing about him is he loves his leche. Guys, I'd like to raise up a non-existent glass. Cheers. Good week. Hope yours was good too. See you next time.